A voice filled the boardroom speakers. My voice, calm and certain. I approved the sale. Transfer controlling interest tonight. Heads snapped toward me. I was standing 10 feet from the speaker in a green dress, a hospital band still around my wrist. Just after 2 in the morning, a nurse had scanned that bracelet under fluorescent lights while I struggled to breathe. I hadn't answered a single call, but there I was on the recording, signing away the company my husband and I built. Mr. Hale cleared his throat. Evelyn, legal has your verbal authorization, time-stamped, notarized, voice authenticated. Authenticated? I slid a red thumb drive onto the table. Then listen closer. I hit play again, the same sentence, and watched them hear what I heard before dawn. No room tone, no breath before the word approve, no tiny click of teeth on hard consonants. A perfect voice that forgot I'm human. Someone had stolen my voice. Across the glass, my son Owen stared at the table like it was quicksand. Beside him, his wife Tara folded her hands too neatly, knuckles white. This isn't consent, I said, steady as a scalpel. It's a deepfake, and before one more dollar moves, we trace the call live. Before we continue, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tell me in the comments, from which part of the world are you listening to this amazing story? Because the trail on this drive doesn't point to a stranger. It leads to someone who knows exactly how I breathe between words. My name is Evelyn, and at 64, I thought I knew how storms arrive. They tip the trees, darken the sky, warn you if you're paying attention. My life after my husband Jack passed was quiet and useful. Morning walks past the river, coffee that tasted like something you could trust, 2 nights a week reading to kids at the library. On Mondays, I still drove to Riverton Steel, the company Jack and I built from a small sheet metal shop into a regional supplier. I sat on the board, kept an office with a plant I couldn't kill, and believed in work you could point to. My son Owen was the face of the next chapter, smart, driven, always in a suit that looked like it came with instructions. His wife Tara ran marketing. Perfect slides, perfect smile, perfect answers. The board chair, Mr. Hale, liked to say we were a family business that learned to wear grown-up shoes. Ms. Reed, our counsel, kept meetings tidy and risks alphabetized. We had rules, too. After a bad flu year when executives scattered, the board added a voice approval backstop. In an emergency, a recorded verbal authorization from me could green-light short-term moves, bridge loans, vendor extensions, even preliminary sale talks, so long as legal logged the audio, stamped the time, and followed with written signatures within 48 hours. I didn't love it. I agreed anyway. It's just a seatbelt, Hale had said. We hope we never need it. Off the clock, I fed the ducks and texted my neighbor Maya, Riverton's head of IT security, and my unofficial daughter. We swapped recipes, solved crosswords, and sent each other photos of suspicious emails like other people share sunsets. Maya once told me, half joking, if I ever go missing, check the server logs. If they go missing, check my cat. That winter, the river froze in lace. I bought a green dress for spring shareholders. I slept through most nights. I didn't see the storm coming. I heard it, with my own voice saying words I never said. The first pebble in my shoe was small, a calendar invite I didn't send, strategy session, Marsh Capital, a private equity group I'd been polite to and always refused. The invite showed my name as organizer, scheduled for late evening, remote. I deleted it, blamed software, and told myself not to be dramatic. Then came the messages. Missed your call, Evelyn. Happy to proceed as discussed. Confirming your yes on accelerated diligence. Yes? I haven't spoken to Marsh in months. I went to Maya. She leaned over my screen, eyes narrowing behind her glasses. Your email is clean, she said. No login anomalies. But your voicemail transcription shows a new entry. Approve the sale. Move as fast as possible. She scrolled. Except there's no incoming call attached. It's uploaded, like someone dropped an audio file into your voicemail from inside the system. Can you track the source? I asked. I can try. She tapped a pencil against her front teeth. Also, someone scraping your public talks, the ones from the manufacturing expo, the local news clip after Jack died. If I were training a voice model, she let the sentence hang. I laughed it off on the drive home, the way you laugh at the idea of a shadow following you. My laugh didn't sound right in my own car. 2 nights later, my chest felt tight enough to squeak. It woke me just after 2 a.m. I sat on the edge of my bed, counting breaths, then let a neighbor drive me to urgent care, just to make sure. A nurse scanned a plastic bracelet onto my wrist, the fluorescent lights making everyone look like they'd been left in the fridge too long. "Probably stress," the doctor said softly. "Nothing broken. Go home. Breathe." I turned my phone off to sleep. While I was under those lights, something else turned on. A meeting I hadn't scheduled, a voice I hadn't lent, a clock I would soon be racing. Morning. I stepped into the Riverton boardroom, still wearing that hospital band because I forgot to cut it off. Mr. Hale stood at the head of the table. Ms. Reed stacked folders like shields. Owen stared at the window. Tara smiled without warmth. Hale hit play. My voice filled the room. I approve the sale. Transfer controlling interest tonight. The board murmured like water on rock. "That's not me," I said, but my body didn't seem sure. "We have the audio on file," Ms. Reed said gently. "Time-stamped overnight, notarized after internal verification. A courier brought a written follow-up with your signature." "That's not my signature," I said too quickly, "and that's not my breath." I reached into my bag and set down a small red thumb drive. This is what I heard at dawn. No room tone, no inhalation before approve. The mouth clicks are perfect, which is how I know it's not mine. I click on K and T when I'm angry. Whoever stitched this forgot I'm human. Tara's fingers interlaced tighter. "We'll need to investigate," Ms. Reed said. "But until then, I said, no one moves a penny. We trace the source now, on speaker with the board listening." Owen finally looked at me, my son with Jack's eyes and a stranger's quiet. "Mom," he said measured, "this could crater everything." "Or it could keep us from selling twice," I said. "Once in cash, once in reputation." I pushed the red drive into the room's console. "Maya is standing by." I clicked a button. The line rang once. "Riverton Sec Ops," Maya's voice said. "Ready when you are." "Start with last night," I said. "Show them where my voice came from." The storm had arrived, and it sounded exactly like me.
People think betrayal is a sharp sound. It isn't. It's the hum that won't stop. It's investors texting at dawn, reporters circling, vendors asking if they should hold shipments until ownership is clear. It's your son avoiding your eyes. It's your daughter-in-law saying, "Let's be adults," in a tone that makes you feel 5. Hale wanted calm. "We'll press pause for 72 hours, he said. "Legal will review the authorization." "Legal will review a deep fake," I said, and hated how tired I sounded. That day bled at the edges. In my office, I found an overnight envelope with a cheap ballpoint signature of my name. The loops wrong, the pressure wrong, the paper smelling faintly of citrus cleaner and a printer that needed work. My hands shook, then steadied. Jack taught me to steady my hands before cutting sheet steel. "The metal remembers your panic," he used to say. At home, the kitchen felt like a stage set. Every object in the right place, none of them alive. I tried to eat and couldn't. I tried to sleep and couldn't. I replayed that sentence, the fake me approving the sale, until my bones felt hollow. At 2 a.m. again, my phone lit with a text from a number saved as Marsh Capital. "Appreciate your decisiveness, Evelyn. Funds will clear by morning." I stared at the words like a dare. Then another text from an unknown number. "Call if you want this to stop." No name, a local area code. I forwarded them to Maya and to Ms. Reed, added one line, "This is not me." By sunrise, my breath felt steadier. Fear can't live where work starts. I made a list. Prove the audio is fake.
prove the who behind it. Make sure the board hears the truth first, not last. Change the rules so this never happens to anyone again. At 9 in the morning, the hum got louder. A blog posted, "Riverton matriarch cashes out." The comments felt like ants. "Of course she sold. Boomer can't let go. Good for her." As if I were a headline in someone else's feed. I closed the laptop and called Owen. "Can you meet?" I asked. He paused. "Tara and I have a full day." "This is your mother," I said low. "Find 10 minutes." Another pause. "Conference room B. No Tara." 10 minutes later, he walked in, jaw tight. He didn't sit. "I didn't approve any sale," I said. He rubbed his forehead. "Look, Mom, maybe you forgot a late call. You've been under stress. I was in a hospital under fluorescent lights at the timestamp." I held up the bracelet. "Scan it." He flinched. "I'm just saying we should be careful." "Be careful with what?" I asked softly. "With me or with the truth?" He didn't answer. He reached for the door and left like the room had burned him. I sat alone, listening to a building I loved creak. When you're drowning, you don't need apologies. You need air. I called Maya. "Ready," she said. "Bring donuts." "I'll bring fire."
Maya's war room was a conference table with cables like vines and a whiteboard filled with boxes and arrows. She pointed to a flowchart. "This is how they did it." "Show me," I said. She clicked open a waveform. "Your approval was built from green-screened voice, clean polls from your public talks and voicemails. They trained a model to mimic your timbre and cadence. Then they synthesized the phrase and dropped it into your voicemail through our internal portal using a hijacked service account. From there, our compliance tool did what it always does, captured, timestamped, and forwarded it to legal." "Internal," I said. "So someone inside held the door. Or someone outside wearing an inside coat." She pulled up logs. "See this?" The service account was accessed from a contractor VPN at a time no contractors were scheduled. The IP resolves to a coffee shop near the Riverton Annex. She split the screen. Now the audio. I ran a spectrogram. The consonants have micro-echo that doesn't match the room tone in your office mic. And look here. On your real voice, you have a little tooth click before hard T's. The synthetic voice smudges them. Beautifully done, but wrong. "So we can prove it's fake," I said. "We can prove it to anyone who listens." She canted her head. "Question is, who needs it to be real?" Before I could answer, Miss Reed stepped in. "We're convening a special board session tomorrow morning. Hale wants clarity. So do I." "Good," Maya said, "because clarity is rude when it needs to be." Rude clarity arrived an hour later in the form of a bank notice. A Shell LLC called Prism River had wired a retainer to Marsh Capital the minute the fake approval hit our system. Ms. Reed traced the LLC to a business mail drop. Maya traced the VPN user to a tablet registered to Tara's department. I swallowed a stone. "That could be anyone," I said. "Marketing tablets float." Maya nodded. "Which is why we shouldn't say it out loud until we have more than smoke." She rolled her chair to the whiteboard. "We need a live proof the board can't ignore. A way to show a voice clone fails a test your real voice passes." "What kind of test?" I asked. "Something liveness-bound," she said. "A challenge a model can't predict. Random words. Room tone measured in real time. A trigger phrase you've never recorded in public. A simple passphrase won't cut it. Clones can parrot. We need breath, lag, imperfection." She smiled, feral. "Let's make your humanity expensive." We built a plan word by word. First, Maya created a one-time call bridge that pulled the boardroom audio into a forensic capture. Then she wrote a tiny script that flashed room tone levels and latency on the big screen. So if a voice came in too clean or too perfect, the numbers would betray it. Finally, I wrote a phrase on a card and slid it across to Maya.
Not even you get to see this, I said. If it leaks, we're done. She nodded. I'll store it in my head and a pocket I don't own. That night, my phone buzzed again. Call if you want this to stop. Same local code. I didn't reply. Instead, I called the number on another card, Arjun, an audio forensics consultant Maya trusted. Bring your ears, I said, and a projector. Projectors are for weddings and truth, he said. What time? Just after 9 in the morning, I said. We're going to teach a board the sound of a lie.
The hour before a fight is its own weather. I ironed the green dress because it made me feel more alive than black. I tucked Jack's old safety glasses in my purse because I like the weight. I slid the hospital band off and put it in a pocket anyway, a reminder that I was still here. In the boardroom, Maya set the trap with the ease of a magician who pays her taxes. Arjun adjusted a small speaker and opened slides that looked like a sea of blue and red threads. Mr. Hale arrived, face set to neutral. Ms. Reed shook my hand like she meant it. Owen and Tara came together, Tara's smile one shade too fast. Hale cleared his throat. We all want this to be clean. Clean is the word people use before they throw away the rag, I said. Let's begin. Maya hit play on the fake. The room filled with the clone of me. The spectrogram danced. Arjun pointed with a capped pen. Hear the uniform hiss? See the smeared sibilants? Notice there's no prephonatory breath? Human voices are messy. This is not messy. Tara's voice stayed cool. Plenty of adjacency. Cheap mics, old room. You can't hang a company on a graph. Good, I said. Let's not. Let's hang it on this. I held up a sealed envelope. Inside is a phrase I have never recorded, never printed, never said on stage. Only Maya knows it, and she knows it like a prayer she won't repeat. We'll call my number. Your deepfake will answer. We'll ask it to say the phrase. It will either fail or it will pass by parroting after I speak. Either way, the timing will betray it. Hale looked at Reed. Reed nodded once. Proceed. Maya connected the call bridge. The speaker chirped. A woman answered with my voice. This is Evelyn. Maya kept her tone flat. Please repeat the verification phrase. Of course, the voice said. What is the phrase? I opened the envelope and read it silently. I did not move my lips. I did not blink like a code. I only looked at Maya and said, Begin. Silence. Then the voice. Please state the phrase. Arjun tapped a key. On the big screen, latency numbers jumped, searching for a sound to mirror. Tough without a prompt, Maya murmured. Let's give you something to chew on. She read a decoy sentence. The clone repeated it smoothly. Arjun pointed. Parrot-lag, hundreds of milliseconds. A model can repeat, it cannot anticipate. Enough games, Tara snapped. What does this prove? Someone spoofed a call. We still have written authorization. About that, Ms. Reed said, sliding a printout across the table. Courier footage shows the handoff. The notary seal was stolen, and the paper came from a copy center near the annex. She turned a second page. Paid with a Prism River business card. The statement shows a retainer to Marsh Capital. Her eyes lifted. Prism River lists you, Mrs. Lane, as contact. She did not use Tara's first name. For the first time, Tara's smile cracked. That's a vendor flow-through, she said. Ask Owen. All eyes pivoted. Owen's face went pale and furious at once. Don't, he said to her. Then to me, quieter. I thought it would help. Help who? I asked. Help us move, he said. The market's changing. Marsh promised runway. Tara said the board would never risk it unless you pushed. She said we could nudge the process. By stealing my yes? I asked. He looked at his shoes. The room made its own weather again. Enough, Mr. Hale said, voice clipped.
We adjourn until the board reconvenes at noon to vote on 3 items. 1. Immediate suspension of any sale. 2. Internal investigation. 3. Adoption of a new verification standard. Ms. Reed, draft the motions. Evelyn, please bring your proposal. My proposal is simple, I said. No decision moves without a live consent. Define alive, Tara muttered. I just did, I said. We broke. In the hallway, Owen caught my arm. Mom, I turned. If you love me, I said evenly, sit in that room and tell the truth. He nodded, small, like a boy. Then he went looking for air. I went looking for resolve.
Noon. The board returned. So did the storm. Ms. Reed read the motions. Hale asked for discussion. Tara raised her hand first. We acted in good faith toward a stronger future, she said. We corrected a paperwork issue. The voice file may be imperfect, but it represented intent. My intent? I asked. Or yours? Riverton needs to grow, she said, chin lifted. Riverton needs to live, I said. It cannot live on a forged breath. Arjun took the floor. He projected 2 spectrograms, my real voice from a recent safety video, and the fake. The model is world-class, he said, almost admiring. But it misses micro-variety, those unrepeatable artifacts of a human mouth in a specific room on a specific morning. The clone is a mirror without fingerprints. You can trust a mirror to reflect. You cannot trust it to be a witness Maya followed with logs. Here's the contractor VPN. Here's the access to our voicemail API. Here's the tablet ID that initiated the upload. She zoomed in. It last paired with a phone ending in 4163, registered to Tara Lane. Tara folded her arms tight. Plenty of people borrow my gear. And plenty of people start LLCs, Ms. Reed said, placing another sheet on the table. Prism River LLC, formed 2 months ago. Signatory T. Lane Owen. Pushed his chair back, face raw. Stop, Tara. Don't you dare, she hissed. You were fine with this until your mother. He stood. That wasn't my mother. That was an empty silence pulled the oxygen from the room. Hale turned to me. Your standard? I slid a page across. 3 parts, I said. Live phrase challenge, randomized words generated in the moment. Room tone capture, a baseline recording of the air in the speaker's location compared against their words. Motion check, a simple liveness step. Touch your left ear, say the phrase, switch to your right ear. Nothing fancy, just human friction. No more voice-only approvals. No more courier signatures without pre-verified contact. If this board wants me, it gets all of me. Breath, delay, imperfection. Ms. Reed nodded. We can operationalize that by week's end. Hale looked around the table. Vote on motion 1. Suspend all sale activity pending full investigation. Aye, said Ms. Reed. Aye, said 2 directors. Owen swallowed. Aye. Tara stared at him like a blade. Nay. Hale's gavel touched wood. Motion passes. He raised his hand. Motion 2. Independent investigation and preservation of evidence, including referral to law enforcement. Unanimous aye rolled around the table. And motion 3. Adopt the Alive Consent Protocol described by Ms. Whitfield. He used my last name for the record. As a mandatory control. Unanimous. Tara slumped back, then sprang forward. You can't just... Hale held up a palm. You are suspended, Mrs. Lane, pending review. She stood, chair skittering. You will regret this, she said to me. All of you. I met her gaze. Regret is a mirror, I said. Today I brought a window. Outside, spring thunder stacked on the horizon. Inside, a door closed the way truth closes doors. Not loudly, but with a finality you can lean on. An hour later, I found Owen in the old fabrication bay, empty now except for the echo of our first machines. He stood among the painted floor lines, palms pressed to his eyes. "I thought a fast sale would make us safe," he said without turning. "Marsh promised we could keep everyone employed. Tara said pushing your approval would keep us from getting outmaneuvered." He dropped his hands. "I didn't think about what it would do to you." "You thought about the fire and forgot the house," I said gently. He tried to smile and failed. "I kept hearing Dad say we had to move or die." I didn't hear him say how I sat on a pallet and patted the space beside me. He joined me like it hurt. "When your father and I started," I said, "we didn't move because we were chased. We moved because we knew our names. We knew what we would and would not sign." "I'm sorry," he said. "Then act like it," I said, quiet but firm. "Tell the truth to the investigators. Cooperate, and learn a new word, no. Use it when a shortcut asks to borrow your mother's voice." He nodded, tears bright. "I will." "I believe you," I said, because I wanted to, and because you have to give a son something to stand on when you take the floor he was standing on. That evening, Miss Reed called. "Police seized devices from the annex," she said. "The coffee shop camera shows a contractor badge used after hours. The badge belonged to a temp that Tara's team approved. The temp's real name is Cade Rivers. He disappeared at noon." "Marsh?" I asked. "Cooperating," she said. "They don't like buying lawsuits." "And the blog?" "Already publishing a correction," she said. "Funny what truth does when you hand it a microphone." I went home, hung the green dress, and laid the hospital band in my drawer next to Jack's safety glasses. My voice felt like it belonged to me again. I stepped onto the porch and let the rain find me. For the first time in days, the sound outside me was louder than the sound in my head. In the weeks that followed, the company did something rare. It changed. The Alive Consent protocol went live before the next board meeting. We trained managers to recognize social engineering. We banned voice-only approvals. We added a human pause to every critical decision, a breath we all had to take before anything irreversible. The investigation ended where everyone in that room already knew it would. Tara resigned before she could be pushed. Cade was arrested out of state with a laptop full of other people's voices, a stack of prepaid cards, and a list titled Approvals. Prism River dissolved in a pool of subpoenas. Owen told the truth in full sentences, to lawyers and to me. Mr. Hale asked me to chair a tiny task force to help other local firms write their own consent standards. We put our template online for free. I called it the window rule. If you wouldn't say it with your face and breath in a room full of people who know how you blink, you don't say it at all. At home, morning returned. Coffee tasted like coffee. Ducks took bread from my palm. Maya came over on Sundays with crossword clues and a satisfied glint that belongs to people who build good traps for bad plans. One afternoon, I found a letter in the mailbox, no return address. Inside, one line in unfamiliar hand. A voice is a weapon or a promise. I taped it above my desk and chose which side to stand on every time I spoke. Owen came by more. We didn't talk about Tara, not yet. We talked about Riverton, about new contracts we could win ethically, about machines that hummed without anyone wearing a mask. We put a small plaque in the fabrication bay where the first press once stood. Say only what you can stand beside. On the night before the next board meeting, I stood in my kitchen and practiced the phrase that saved us, the one I didn't say out loud until it mattered. I smiled at my reflection when I finished, because my reflection smiled back, like a person. Sometimes the sweetest revenge isn't payback, it's protocol. It's a rule that keeps strangers from stealing the sound of your life. It's peace you can point to. Did you like my story? And which city are you listening from? Let's meet in the comments. If you like the story, you can support me by sending a super thanks so I can keep bringing more stories like this. Thank you so much for your sweet support. I'm looking forward to your comments on the story.
On the screen, you can see 2 new life stories that I highly recommend. There's so much more on my channel. Don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next life story. With love and respect.